Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on week 3 out of 7 weeks of the Mindfulness Circle for Achievement Addicts. My name is Astuti. For those of you who have not interacted with me, I'm based in Zurich, and the leader of this session is my dear friend Puja, and I'm going to give the stage to her in a minute. Just a quick recap: we are recording this for. There are a lot more people who registered today, but won't be able to make it, so they'll receive this recording. And my request to you, if you're interested to keep the recording, when I send you the link, download it, because in Zoom, we need to delete the link so that the next week recordings can be uploaded, so that we have enough space, basically. So without further ado, I'm heading over to Puja.
Yes, good morning, everybody. So we were just starting to do a bit of recap, maybe. We did eating meditation. So most of the time we're trying to focus on more practical than talking. And then we did meditation on, I think it was body scan. So today we are going to focus on emotions, right? So emotions and thoughts and what those things are that keeps us quite entertained in our life. So basically, let's think about thought. So what comes to your mind when we think about thoughts? Like I hear a lot of people before they come to the sessions or about some of the questions they have around um, meditation is meditation going to or mindfulness going to help me stop my thoughts, those kind of things. So if you have any of those things, let me know. Let's use the chat, or just unmute yourself, please. Tell us how thinking is on your way. I can't stop thinking. My mind keeps buzzing. My keeps working. Some of those, if you have those, can you share with us? Okay, no one. That's fine.
I was actually just going to say, yeah,
Oh, please.
I think you've kind of said it. I think it's just having too many thoughts or thinking too much or about how much you have to do, how little time you have to do it. And that can
Yes.
be work and personal all combined. So things you want to do, things you'd like to do. So just almost a constant to-do list going
Yeah.
through your head. So maybe not being mindful of the things you want to be grateful for or enjoy. The other things take over because you feel you should be doing something else.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Anybody else? I saw there was something in the chat. Thoughts
Yes.
barely stop.
No.
Mental is usually active. Yes. Same, despite efforts to stop the mind. Anything else? There was someone speaking. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I think it's more of thinking about the past, like what could have been done, what could have I done, like what happened if. For me, it's the when I'm doing meditation, it's about the ifs that I
Mm-hmm.
can't stop thinking.
Thank you. So yeah, I think this kind of puts most of us in the basket, right? Either we are in the ifs in the past, and this is what we touched base last week also a little bit, um, or what's going to happen in the future, like planning, to do lists and planning. It's mostly in the future, right? And obviously, we also spoke last week that this is because we are either here or here. Everything is happening here, now, and here, right? So more and more we hear now and here, be here. Now is the time. We hear this all the time on different social medias and quotes coming out. So my challenge to everybody that I talk to about mindfulness is it's all good to copy paste those quotes and make it nice and put it on your Facebook page or social media page or share it around with your friends. But if we are not actually practicing any of those, it really doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. At least that's how I look at it. I can share stuff, but if I'm not practicing, then doesn't work. So let's get into a bit of practice. So I invite you all just to take a deep breath. And this is just a very short exercise, okay? Now I'd like to invite you to just imagine, close your eyes. You can close your eyes. And think about something something nice that happened this weekend or last week or whenever. And when you're thinking about that, what's going on? Okay. So that was a very, very couple of seconds exercise. So can you share with us, when I just asked you to stop, breathe, think about something nice, what did you notice? What is that came to you? What did you think about? Just one or two sharings.
I just thought about a nature walk I had at the weekend, a really beautiful scenery and beautiful autumn leaves came into my head.
Mm-hmm.
I had a few things. Again, my mind was wandering on to all the different things that I consider nice. Booking a spa weekend, which I booked recently, also came into my head, or just a nice meal I cooked with I bought a new crock pot. So I was testing out a really nice.
So great. Thank you so much, Christian, for sharing that, because sharings also, help us to share amongst each other. And when I said that, you had all these different thoughts that came right away. The new crockery, the vacations you were looking.
Yep.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Thank you for that. Now I'm going to another exercise, okay? Just a very quick one. Close your eyes again. And I'd like you to imagine a friend. Just imagine that you are walking down the street and you see a friend. You're a really, really good friend. And then you're so excited to see this friend. You haven't seen her for a bit, but all of a sudden you are seeing here such a great surprise. So you start waving your hand and calling her name, saying, hey, what's up? But then she turns, but she keeps walking. She doesn't talk to you, or no reaction at all. Okay. What's going on there? Just for a second, and then you can open your eyes. Thank you. So what happened when you saw your friend and she didn't talk to you and she kept going? Did you see anything? Were you able to imagine this?
It felt quite disappointing, actually, when she didn't see me. I actually felt that emotion. It was quite
Thank you.
Quite strong.
And what came to your mind? What thoughts did you have?
I think I just felt sad that I missed that she didn't get to see me, or that or possibly ignored me, or why did she not respond? Question, I suppose, I think, was what I was thinking.
Thank you. Anybody else who would like to share? Just one or two, please. Don't be shy.
Feels really sad, I guess. It's all the excitement after seeing her or him, and then to be I think be ignored like that, or maybe like the person didn't recognize us or didn't hear us, but it's still, I guess, hurt would be what I would feel.
So when you imagined, you saw a friend, did you see your own friend?
Yes.
Okay. And when you were excited, what were you thinking to yourself at that moment?
Like how fun we were. Like, oh, we're gonna grab some beer if he sees me, or like have fun like the olden days. But then he didn't reply to my hi. I think that's kind of disappointing, just like Christian said before.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Monica, did you want to share something?
That's it.
Thank you.
I'll share next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Or you can just use the chat as well. Well, thank you so much. That was really kind of you to share your what came to, just for the benefit of this exercise and for others also. What I wanted to demonstrate is this was totally something that we made up, right here, about the friend. This did not happen right now, right? So look at the thoughts that came to your mind when something happened, right? And then the emotions. So for those of you who also imagined the friend and had some kind of reaction, emotional reactions when the friend didn't see you, I hope you got that experience, because this is, as I said, it's an experiential learning. So the emotion is so direct and so real, isn't it? And this is to say that most of the time our life is happening in this way. Okay, so thoughts, emotions, and reactions are happening all very, very fast. Something happens, there is a situation, thoughts are coming on its own. We don't welcome them, it just keeps popping, they're unwelcome friends that we don't know how to get rid of sometimes. And then because of the thoughts, there's automatic reaction. And when we are not conscious, or when we are not mindful, or when we haven't learned some of the techniques, which is like mindfulness, to take a step back, many times our emotions, we are run by our emotions. Does that make sense? Okay. So these strong emotions, disappointments, right? Like some of the time, I've done this exercise a couple of times, and younger group were like, oh, I saw that, and I was straight away writing to this friend on WhatsApp message like, hey, you didn't see me, and getting really upset in this simple but yet powerful exercise, right? So it's just to say that please note thoughts like this one, for example. We are always, it happens on its own. It's like an automatic mode. I notice myself many times when I'm walking on the streets, people are walking, my thoughts are, oh, look at her clothes, oh my god, she's so cool, or oh, that's so disgusting. Sometimes I'm very aware, so I can hear myself, my self-talk happening. But I didn't know this for a long time. I didn't know it was the first time I found out, or I realized, or I learned that our mind is constantly suggesting thoughts in our heads, is happening automatically. And when my grandmother taught me, all I was doing was, she said, just sit down, and there will be thoughts coming and going, and you don't have to do anything. So I thought that was really okay. I've never done it. I never realized that thoughts were, wandering around in my head, because obviously I was not conscious. I never thought about these things. And then I noticed in a very short period of time, and I hope you have also noticed through the meditations that we've done, or in the past also, you see the train of your thoughts on its own. Okay. And all you have to do, like we are doing the meditation, is bring your awareness back to something in your body. So that's why we take breath, because breath is always there. It's something that is grounding. Your thoughts can get lost, but you can always come back to the breath. The moment you come back to the breath, that is where you can actually, the thoughts will be there, but it won't have an impact on you. It will take time. It's practice. It's not going to happen right away, but the more you practice, and that's why mindfulness practice, we have different types of meditation, different ways of bringing that focus and concentration. So the meditation we did on week 1, week 2, if you have the recordings, these are all just different types, different ways to bring that monkey mind, we call it, right? Thoughts and emotions. So it's just to bring it back to that still point, to that one fixed point, so that once the mind is really settled, then it drops down. So I'm going to give you another example of how the thoughts are. So you know these little balls of Christmas ball with sand inside, and we shake, and then this glittery things happen. So think about your head a little bit like that, right? When you shake it, lots of things are happening in your day, busy day, lots of to-do things, there's things happening, people, deadlines. We are stressed, right? We have a certain heightened level of energy going there, level of emotions going there that we are not even aware. And then the ball is like your thoughts. So think about the sands in the ball, your thoughts all over. And that's why sometimes we feel overwhelmed, right? We feel that we have no control over what we think and how we feel. So what happens to this ball when you just leave it on the table, just leave it there? What happens to this sand that's going all over in the ball? It just starts to settle down, right? It naturally, you leave it there for a bit and then it settles down. So you think about your mind a little bit like that. And mindfulness techniques and tools is like putting this ball on the table and just leaving it there for a bit. So all you are trying to do is you are not trying to take those thoughts and erase it and get rid of it, like go away. No, it's just giving that a moment to calm down. So it naturally calms down. Your thoughts will melt away slowly with practice. I can tell you, in the beginning, it wasn't like that. And then when you are more agitated, when you are more stressed, it takes a little bit more time, right? But guaranteed, that's why meditation, mindfulness, all of this is working. And you are hearing more and more because it's working for many ordinary people. We no longer have to go to the mountains to meditate and to have this thing. It happens 3-4 times you practice, you can experience. So just a way you can imagine how thoughts are working in your mind. And as you saw with that example, emotions are, you see, it's like a triangle. I do have a presentation, but maybe I can share with you just one slide with Astuti, so you can see what I mean. So there's something happens, there is a situation, okay? This is constantly happening, and there's no process that this is first, this second, this third. It can happen anytime. So something happens, there's automatic thoughts and emotions are happening automatically. If you are highly conscious, you can see that pattern in yourself, okay? It comes with practice. And then meditation is like a tool, it's like a medication, right? When you have a headache, you take a medication. When you have a pain, you take something to eat or you go to doctor. So here, think about it as intervention, right? Preventive intervention, meditation, or mindfulness techniques and tools that you are learning here. So it's just to understand that, what's your pattern? How do you think? How's your mind moving? Everybody is different. And I can see Monica's in the chat. I thought I was the only one. I think you were referring before to the thoughts, right? How it keeps happening automatically and how you can catch yourself. So today, the meditation and mindfulness is just to breathe, take a step back, and give some space between those thoughts that is so much there and you don't know what to do, just by breathing. Okay, just by, like last week we did something to eat, mindful eating, just by eating a little bit, giving yourself a break, giving yourself some space, like literally intentionally you are carving some space between those busy mind to-do lists, from going one thing to another. Little, when I say little, it's like a couple of seconds, right? Some of the exercises we've done hasn't taken like 5 minutes even. So it's just very, very little space there, and choosing your reaction. So emotions happens all the time, but you have to check in. Like thoughts are not true. Did you know that do you know for yourself that all the things that comes to your mind, it's true? Do you literally think they are something that is really happening, or whatever you think is true? Can you give me some, put it in your chat if you say yes, no, please, just to understand.
I think they feel to me like an instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Not always true, but some of them, like
Yes.
all my friends are talking about me behind my back, but then when you start, oh, don't think like that, you know, it's negative thinking. But then one day you find out the truth that they were actually talking about you. So that thinking, that positive thinking, that telling you not to believe your negative thinking, you just like, see, I told you so. It's an instinct. It works like that in my mind sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for that. Yes, not always. Sometimes it is true, sometimes it's not. And by research, it's been shown, because they've done a lot of interviews and testing, right? Controlled and uncontrolled type of researches, that 99% or more of your thoughts are not actually true if you start really inquiring, you know. So think about thoughts, like the way I like to think about thoughts when I started this practice is, so I didn't know myself, right? Like everything I thought, sometimes it feels so true that it could be wrong. Like whatever I'm thinking about your friends or about families or at work, it happens all the time, right? At work, I can tell you many times, even if if I think I'm highly competent in mindfulness practices, it happens all the time. So I went back to work after sick leave. And obviously, you know, after more than a year, things has changed. So I kind of lost confidence. It took me a bit of time to go back in the rhythm, even if it was something that I had been doing most of my life. And then I started feeling like, oh my God, you know, everybody is moving. They are not keeping me as a part of the team. So I started feeling all of these emotions, and I started feeling really bad in the team because, you know, I felt left out. I felt as if people were doing things behind me and not making me a part of the team, or not giving me enough information. Until one day I really had to say, okay, hold on, what's going on here? Because when I came back, I really wanted to, you know, show I'm working and I've been away for so long and I wanted to be efficient, but it didn't work because I wasn't the same person, right? After the sick. So I had to stop, and then I had to say, this is not true. And I'm Monica, about being positiveness. I'll just say one or two words. It's not about, a lot of people sometimes misunderstand this positive thinking. It's not about neglecting or if something is true, not putting positive things to make it different. Mindfulness, that's what we're going to go into a little bit. It's about actually learning how to stay with the truth, even if it's difficult, but how to manage those phases. So here in my case, I had to really sit down, and I had to, because I was not conscious, you see, I was not mindfulness at that period, because I was really focused. Again, this is a question of focus on getting back to work and showing that I can be productive. So here, when I started, is it true? So I started intervening myself. I started questioning myself. So I started asking questions to my colleagues. I feel like, and the language is different. So I started saying, I feel like, you know, I'm not getting the information. Do you have the information? And actually, they didn't, or most of the things that I had in my mind were obviously not true. It was just that I was only focused on doing a good job, and whatever I needed, if I didn't get that, I felt like people were not putting me as part of the team. So it happens all the time this way. And mindfulness, again, these different practices. All I'm trying to do here is really put a connection between different meditations we are doing. Why are we doing these different meditations? It's not about just to sit there and bring your attention back to the breath. You know, it's a hideous thing to do. It's quite boring, but as you've seen, that it's quite difficult. So with these different practices, it's just to bring your self-awareness to that breath. It can be anything else. If nature, walking in the nature is something that works for you, doing that. If it's eating or drinking, these are different ways we are actually training our mind to be alert, to be a little bit more conscious, so that when we get lost in the unconsciousness, or sometimes we forget because of the busyness, you have your brain is starting to do an automatic kick, which is your new habit, right? To new habit to say stop, take a step back, take a deep breath, and then come back to those thoughts and emotions and really inquire, is this really true, right? So emotions, let's look at emotions. I heard some people present emotions like you watching a black and white movie, right? So imagine your world is all black and white. It's beautiful black and white, but how about a colorful movie? How many of you would like some colors in your life, or a colorful movie from time to time? How would that be? If it was only black and white, how would that be? Couple of chats just for the conversations, please. Boring, right? So yeah, sad. So thank you. So emotions, sometimes when we don't know how to manage, or when we don't know what really emotions are doing, it looks like a big enemy, because we don't know how to control our emotions. We don't know what to do with it. We just react. So the reaction happens constantly. So this example we did this just before, his friend walking, and then disappointments. And what happens when you are really disappointed and you didn't know? Some people are highly intelligent, or are conscious, or have a better way. So they will probably go and call them and say, hey, I saw you, you didn't, try to find out. Some people are very emotionally impulsive. So some of the girls who said, yeah, I was so mad at my friend, I was so angry, and I really wanted to go back and like pull her and ask her, why did you see me? So there's a level of, we all have different levels of emotional intelligence. So it really depends on where your experience and how you've cultivated. So emotion is really like that. It brings in color. And I think for me, it only started to get fun with emotions when I actually started to learn about emotions, right? So I was a very impulsive, very emotional, driven person. Something happened, bam, this situation, thoughts, emotions, and reactions were happening all at the same time and in a very fast pace, to the point that I had to quit my job because I was so emotionally strong that I had the guts to go and tell my bosses, fuck off, I'm quitting this job because I don't like your face, or I don't like what you say. But then at the end, when I was being like this, what I learned was, because of my highly strong character and my emotional reactions, I didn't know how to deal with people in a better way, right? So I was having lots of fights, or lots of misunderstandings, and lots of drama. So it was very draining, to the point that I realized that I was the only one losing in this game, because they all had their jobs. I had to go and start all over. Not one time, not two times. I was looking for jobs because I knew my character, and I had to look for something that I could stay there for a few months. So I wasn't looking for something stable. So what I learned was, because I didn't understand my own way of being, my whole world was actually driven in that way. So I knew that I had a strong character, and I didn't like what other people told me to do. If they asked me to do this, do that, even if they were my manager or bosses, I didn't like that. So I had to, speak back. And that was because I didn't know how to work with those emotions, right? Because I was right, and this is how it is, and all of those thinking. So anyway, when I started learning emotions, some of the things I learned about emotions and thoughts. So let me start with thoughts. thoughts are not always true. So I invite you to really check in. If some thoughts are really predominant and it doesn't leave you, question yourself, ask yourself if it's really, really true, and take one or two actions. Like Monica was saying, if you thought that your friends were speaking behind you, and if you really feel strongly about it, instead of sitting and thinking, take one step and go and ask, do something that actually makes it really, really true or really, really wrong, whatever that is, right? It could be something like that, so that you don't spend a lot of time just thinking about it. Thoughts are not facts. Thoughts are assumptions. Most of the time, we are just assuming. These are stories that we tell ourselves, and it's just opinion. Okay. No, also, when you are thinking about your own thought process, know how thoughts trigger feelings. Okay, like we said, there's a thought, we have no control over it. It just happens automatically. Situations does not trigger, and it's the interpretation of the situation. So when the situation happens, it's our own interpretation, it's our own stories that we tell about the situation that generates this or that feelings. So if you think about it, we do have control over there. We can interpret a situation a way that feels more empowering to ourselves. So there's some kind of control that we can take. Okay. And invite different perspectives, right? So if you are thinking in one way, you can always check in to say, okay, how else could I look at this situation, right? I have to work, for example, right? I mean, I like to give this example. Once I had to pay a lot of money for a ticket, like speeding ticket. It didn't come on time, these speeding tickets. So it accumulated, and I got January particular year this bunch of traffic tickets, and it was more than 2,000 francs, right? It was more than that. I'm not saying it disclosing here. It was a lot of money. So all of a sudden, I was, of course, you can imagine how I felt, really pissed off. I was blaming the machine and the Geneva system who didn't give me these bills on time. So I kept doing the same mistake. It was on my way home, speeding, so going off. So anyway, obviously I've been practicing, so my practice kicks in. So to say like, okay, what else can I do? Of course I have to pay. So I paid. But then, when I calm myself down, something came, thought. And that's what happens. This ball, you settle it down. I settled it down with all my emotions. I took a deep breath, and then it said, you don't pay taxes in this country, right? So I have a job where I don't have to pay tax. And I just looked at it like, oh, wow, look, I don't pay tax. Let me look at this as contributing to the economy here. I haven't done this for more than 10 years. So that really felt empowered. I would have never thought of that by myself. It was just something, when I settled my mind, it's just something that popped up, and I said, wow, that feels really good to look at it in that way. Of course, here, I'm not denying that I didn't speed. I'm acknowledging all the stuffs I could have done differently, my own mistakes, something I'm acknowledging. But at the same time, okay, this has happened, I've paid, different perspective. So that made me feel better, instead of saying, how stupid, because I felt stupid. I didn't tell the story for a long time because a lot of money, not worth it, because of some stupid speeding things I have in a 30, 20-kilometer place going shooting off, nothing to be proud of. So acknowledging whatever it is, not lying to yourself, right? So different perspectives. So we can do that at any time. And then also be aware of some negative, critical, emotionally self-abusive talk, right? So self-talk, there's not just positive, it's not about replacing it. It's not about that. It's actually noticing and understanding that you have these kind of thoughts about yourself. Like sometimes I'm very hard on myself, maybe, and we are all. Most of you high achievers are constantly feeling like I'm not doing enough, right? Even when you are doing so much, your friends and your families will be telling you, those who know you will be telling you, like, stop working. Why are you working so hard? You are constantly thinking about work. So people know how much work you do, but you don't acknowledge yourself. So in a way, that is kind of not nice to yourself. It's not kind. It's really self-abusive, constantly putting yourself on the go. If you think from that perspective, I hope it gives you a different light to take a step back. Okay. So these are thoughts. I can share these couple of things with Astuti so she can share it with. So just play around with these, okay? Next time you have a very busy mind, bring these different perspectives to deal with it and accept reality. So when we think about your self-talk, changing your self-talk, again, I really want to emphasize it's not about ignoring your situation. It's not like, oh my God, I'm just going to bring some positive thoughts in here. I am the guru of positive thoughts. I don't even have to think about positive thoughts. It just, I am like that. That's why I used to tell people I am born positive. I just see positive. It's so natural for me. I didn't know that everybody, not everybody sees the world in that way. I literally didn't know. So when I am like this, my reactions to people were different. I was going to people, like even my brother going through a very tough time. I used to tell him, like, how come you don't see these positive things? Look at the brighter side, move on. That was not helpful. It doesn't work. It's not about looking at the other side and looking at the brighter side. It's about acknowledging what is. So if it's disappointment, if it's stress, acknowledge. If it's, I can't do it, I literally can't let go of my work, acknowledging. That's where you are really, really being kind and compassionate to yourself. First of all, to acknowledge whatever is. That is mindfulness. It's really being mindful of what's going on right here, right now, acknowledging it, being aware of all the thoughts, checking in the thoughts, right? Like when you are going to work, you check your emails, right? Those ones that's junk mail, we just throw it away. We don't even look at it. Mind's a little bit cleaning up of your mind. Okay, that's mindfulness. Just checking in, this is true, this is not. I don't want to entertain too much of my time. Catching yourself. That's what happens when we start practicing. You catch yourself, make a clean, organized mind, and then you move into, yeah, I'm sad, I'm disappointed, I'm upset, I can't do it. Yes, it makes me feel shit. It's whatever that emotion. Because remember, those are the emotions which gives us life, which gives us energy, which gives us meaning to our situations, to our relationships. Okay, so it's not that. Don't be afraid. Emotions is energy just moving around in your body. It's just something happens, something gets triggered. You are angry, you're disappointed, you are happy. There's no difference. That's why the thoughts is, it's our interpretation of stuff that makes us either happy, joy, sad, disappointed. Okay? It's just our interpretation. And the interpretation is something that we can change.
Toko organik yang di Sanur. Saya mau lewat toko untuk beli topi, kalau bisa topi.
Oh, sorry. I thought somebody was talking.
Yang sama yang aku punya, tapi warna.
Okay, so thoughts are those. And when you notice that, all you do is, yes, my mind is going all over the world, but for this particular moment, if you need to calm down, okay, if you really don't know what to do and you're so overwhelmed, just notice and bring that. And sometimes it's going to be really difficult. So just trying to sit there and bring your awareness back to the breath can be super stressful. So I invite you to do other things like walk around, eat mindfully, break that pattern, okay? Break that pattern. And then the surrendering to the monkey mind is what the meditations do, okay? Slowly, when we did the body scan, you can come back to your body, you can come back to whatever activity you are doing. Like the first exercise that we said we would do, something daily thing, some brushing your teeth or just walking, just some of those practices is going to come handy. And then just quickly to say, emotions is just energy. Something happened like disappointment, there is some level of emotions. If you actually start being very present to whatever that is, you can start to learn more. We can't go too deep into all of this today, so I will share with you a couple of points around emotions and thoughts, and maybe in the next week, just to start off, you could come back and share what what was some of your takeaways, or if you wanted to share something. I think that would be nice if people can share what you thought about emotions and thoughts after this week. Okay, and we'll give you one exercise. And emotions also influences your thoughts. Okay, when you feel bad, you may have thoughts that are not so helpful or negative thoughts. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just what we do with these thoughts, right? Right or wrong, good or bad. When I learned that it's not good or bad, that was a big relief for me, because sometimes we like, oh, these are negative thoughts, I should not think and I have to get rid of it. No, there's no right, there's no wrong. It's just what is. What is? Whatever that is, whatever emotions that is. Thoughts, you can check in now. Is it true? Is it not true? Do I need it? How does it make me feel? Does it move me ahead? Does it put me in a space? Like last week, I had an argument with my partner, and for 1 week, I didn't speak. Just we stayed in two corners, feeling really shitty. Even though my mind is like, no, this is a waste of time. I'm emotionally highly intelligent. I want to make a thing. No, my body just didn't move. I just didn't feel like talking. And I allowed myself to sit there for 1 week, making faces and just being, because that's where I wanted to be. It depends how long and how that will impact. But at that moment, that's what I needed. And I just did that, even though it was not the nicest thing to do. It was not the kindest thing to do to the other person. But for me, that's what I needed. So just understand your own mechanisms and allow yourself to feel those energies. Sometimes it's stronger, sometimes it's not too strong, but it's really learning, it's really tuning in. And if it's sadness, now people want to change that and be happy. No, sadness is amazing. Just feel it. It's a strong, beautiful emotion. If it's disappointment, yes, we get disappointed with people. It doesn't have to change. Just because we are disappointed, my son gets disappointed with me for many things. Yes, I would like him not to get disappointed, because I want to be a wonderful, great mother that does things all the time perfectly. But no, I do make mistakes. I do say things that hurts him and that hurts other people. But he's not going to love me less. So don't forget that if you are in this space, that you're going to become that, right? It's just an emotion. It's just something that happened. We'll get over with it. It doesn't make a difference in your own beautiful character, in your own beautiful soul, in your own beautiful self. Because sometimes we think that if we make mistakes, people are going to get upset, or we put them down, or we didn't live up to their expectations. Those people who know you very well and know you deeply and love you deeply will not make a judgment around that. If people do, then that's because probably they don't know you fully. Like, so if I know Astuti, no matter what she does, I know that it was a moment, it was something. If we have misunderstandings, I know I can call her. But I'm not going to sit there and say, oh my God, how could Astuti do this? She should have known better. I'm not like that, right? So reaching out, making those amendments in your own daily life, questioning yourself, your own thoughts, is a mindful way of being. Okay, so we have 10 minutes. I will try to do a little meditation, okay, to close our emotions and thoughts. I hope these were a couple of points that you can take home, think about it, and use it to check yourself up a little bit. So let's do a very short meditation, 3 minutes breathing meditation. So this is a very practical 3 minute, not more than 3 minutes, you will see, that you can do anytime, especially if you feel like you don't know what to do and you need just a break to bring those, you are stressed or overwhelmed and you need to bring some space into your being. Okay, so please sit comfortably. If you want to change your posture or anything, please do that. Bring your awareness slowly to your breath. And just be aware of your posture, okay? How you're sitting. If you're sitting on a chair or bed, just bringing your full awareness to your body. We started with our breath and then just being aware of your body. So take a deep breath. As you take this deep breath, just notice how it goes all the way when you inhale from your nose, going down as far as you can take your awareness. Just being aware of your inner experiences and bodily sensations. And if there's any emotions that are present for you now, simply noticing where you feel your emotion within your body. And noticing what thoughts are arising as you are just breathing in and out. And you are not trying to change anything here, just opening to what's already here, what's going here right now. This is the first step, just the breathing, becoming aware of your space, your body, your inner experiences, your bodily experiences, any emotions and thoughts, okay? Just a quick note, quick awareness. And step 2 is breathing space B. It's just breathing, tuning in, turning your attention to your breath down in your lower abdomen, your belly, feeling the full duration of each in-breath and the full duration of each out-breath. And simply noticing when your mind wanders and gently guiding it back, anchoring yourself with the breath. And the last step, C, which stands for consciousness, and it's just consciously expanding your awareness to your whole body. As if your whole body is breathing, including all sensations, just as they are. As if they are coming back home to your body. This home is like a body. Just being here in the present moment and allowing all sensations to be just as they are. Simply knowing that your kind and gentle awareness has the capacity to hold whatever is arising for you now. And bringing this breathing space to a close and giving your full mindful awareness to the outer world. Whatever you need to do next, with openness, self-kindness, and wisdom. So thank you. This was just the 3 minutes, even less, meditation. Step A, just awareness, being aware of your breath, of your body, the sensations, thoughts. The B, the breathing, you brought your attention, how your breathing was, just feeling that in and out breath in full durations. And the last one was just being conscious, expanding that awareness to your whole body and including everything that is present for you in that moment. So when you do that and when you open your eyes now, you can go back to whatever you were doing. If it's work, if it's with people. So there's a very quick 3 minutes meditation. So thank you, everybody. If you have any questions, please do let us know. And we will send you these two. Yeah, I'll send you these 2 stuffs on thoughts and emotions. So for the next week, if you can just be aware of some of your emotions, your thoughts, taking away from what we learned today, just to play around with some of the concepts, and see what happens if you apply it, if you were able to use it in your practical day when you really need it.
Yes, and also next week we're going to cover stress and anxiety.
Yes.
Very connected to
So
today.
By now, we've slowly done just being aware of your breath and quite a few meditations. Next week is really understanding now what do we do with these emotions. We got a bit about emotions today. Emotions, just energy moving around in our body. No right, no wrong. It's not negative or positive. It's our definition of the situation that makes it positive or negative or gives us some level of experience. And then next week, it's really going one step deeper, just taking some of the emotions that people experience, mostly anxiety and overwhelm and stress. So what do we do with that? Okay, so we'll just go one step deeper into it next week. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here again. Lovely to see you all, and see you next week.
See you next week.
Have another call, so I have to run.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Puja. See you next week. See you, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.